my fuzzy little man peaches. Oh, my camera is not in the right spot. Oops. Oh, my fuzzy little man peaches. Welcome to the cream stream. I thought I would, once again, touch on something a little different before I get playing games. I was going to, I don't know, I've been seeing a lot online about this cult called The Garden, and I started looking into it, and I was not pleased. Not with the cult themselves, that I'm gonna get into. I'm gonna like show some videos about it for like, or just parts of them at least, for people who might have never heard of them before. Yeah, essentially there's like this whole movement, I guess you could say, of concerned internet citizens who've taken upon themselves on TikTok, and I'm assuming it's because a lot of them are children. I don't know, because like there's this whole like Gen Z is taking down the cult or whatever thing going on, which I have no explanation for really. So anyway, concerned Gen Zers are very upset by this cult, and you know, their evidence is kind of interesting, and a lot of it is based on like, you know, oh, this doesn't pass the vibe check, in my opinion, and I can explain in graphic detail why this commune is not a cult yet. It could, I mean, in the future, it very well could be. I mean, they already have some very unique takes on COVID and QAnon and things like that, but that's an entirely other story. Are the people in a cult? Yeah, some of them believe in QAnon, so that's a whole other thing, but is the commune itself a cult? No. Okay. But I'll get into why. I accidentally closed my tab. So, okay. Very, very large YouTubers made a thing about this, and I have to say, like, you know, the biggest thing that's like freaking people out is that like the people on the commune killed a feral cat that killed 30 plus chickens or something like that, and I 100% agree that they're incompetent as fuck. And if you can't fucking figure out a way to outsmart a cat, you probably are not going to be doing very well with your little decentralized community, but that's just me. I've spent a lot of time on communes growing up. My favorite one being Lost Valley in Oregon. Absolute awesome Chad permaculture village and food forest. This is nothing like that, and I will explain everything. Okay, so here, let's start out with this video here. Let me I need to get make a scene so I can just click on it and, you know, go in between full screen me and I guess I could just do this, right? Yeah, I could technically just do that, but that's cheating. Okay. Okay. Might be too big still. Friends. Pause the astrophysics momentarily.
Sketched out by communes, because as much as I'd like to believe that it's
let me preface this by saying that this is the thing on TikTok, and I have one video on TikTok and it's of my dogs playing, so I am not a TikTok person. The only thing I have like thought to look up on TikTok were talking dogs, as in dogs using those mats to communicate with their owners, say certain words. Okay, that's it. That's all. I just can't do it. So I just automatically assume that it's something ridiculous, and you know, like when I hear about a commune cult, like I personally feel affected and pissed off about it because I'm like, great, like more people just looking at that, you know, like people trying their own, you know, anarchist communes and things like that as being this like weird, unattainable disaster. And it's bad optics. It is, because there are a lot of fucking communes that have been around for a very long time and
probably
very
just
well.
hippies smoking weed, living off the
So-
land, just chilling like it's Woodstock or some shit. We know that most of the time cults don't really tell you, oh hey, we're a cult, we're gonna all kill ourselves. They don't tell you that up front most of the time.
Like a really big that's a really big leap of things to say. I'm gonna scoot ahead a little bit, and herein, you know, they're in the video they present this as evidence as to why the cult is a cult, and for me this is this is evidence to the contrary. I'll tell you why.
You are welcome. This is the office. Some perching chickens.
I don't like this guy. I don't like his vibe. I think he's
This is the free bus with clothes and stuff that you can take. That's the schoolhouse. That's the kitchen bus. The old
bus.
community cabin.
normally I would think that's a really
The new tool shed. That's the shower house. The new community cabin. That's the toilet. There's a cabin there. There's a cabin over there. And a cabin here. This is the outdoor kitchen we use in the summer. Getting renovated.
Is that a
Getting
cabin?
renovated.
Is that a cabin though?
This is the
Is that a cabin or is that a shed? Is that a shed that you converted into a cabin? Which would be fine. But, I mean, some of the structures look okay.
It's the insulation.
Some of them look very
Get
fucking dated.
ready for winter and now.
And it's very, very unkempt
More
commune.
TikTokers have arrived, so I'm giving them a tour. Lunch. Now back to work. Time to pray to our leader. Just kidding. We're an egalitarian community. We have no leader. Now Rel has dumpster dived all that and all this.
Oh, the
Looks
pizza.
like we're eating
That is
pizza
not-
tonight.
Okay, I used to do Food Not Bombs almost every weekend for a while, in my youth especially. And oh my god, can you just? Oh god, we would never serve the people throwing out pizza. For a lot of
At the
reasons
bottom
why
of
this
each
could be in the
TikTok,
dumpster.
there is
Closed
an
food.
address. Now, that is their
Oh,
address,
God.
which was one of my first red flags because as much as a commune, anytime I say commune, just see the air quotations, okay? Because as much as a commune might be open
Fair.
for people to come and visit and just see how they're just living this great worry-free life, it's also like you are putting a target on your back. And now maybe that's just me being paranoid, but I'm pretty sure I saw other comments being like, you know, you could easily be targeted now, because the kind of implication or the kind of assumption that a lot of people are making, myself included, also because at the entrance they have a like no violence sign, is that these people don't have a method of defending themselves. Like, do any of these people have any way to really defend themselves? Probably not. Like, I'm willing to.
So this is a fair point. And this is actually, I mean, I guess there could be cults in which this could be a thing, right? In which, you know, the open door policy is representative of their ethos. But this particular commune has an ulterior motive. And it's not having a bunch of mindless followers who worship a tree. Because from my understanding, the guy who runs the TikTok is only for a couple of months. Another inconsistency is that, you know, the other, or something like that. She runs the other TikTok for the garden, and she's made claims that the garden has been around for 12 years. In its current state. And to me, you know, having been to commune project, it's just very fucking hard to believe that somebody legitimately, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me that it would still be in that state after 12 years of constant labor. So it sounds like an exaggeration of, you know, oh, somebody who lives here has done 12 years of commune work or whatever, which is very fucking different because either way, the state of the commune is it's very poor, and I don't really understand or see very much in the way of actual permaculture, because when you look at above ground footage of this commune, you're gonna see a lot of, you know, monoculture like land. And I know that there's forests surrounding it, but in terms of like sustainability, I've not really seen too much of that, other than their like rain, you know, their rainwater shower, which is kind of the bare minimum for an eco village. Their pond is like very sad and very small, and not, it doesn't seem like it was planned out very well. And even if it was already there before, I mean, diverting the water, making the pond deeper, you know, setting up areas for ducks to lay eggs around the water, like things like that. It just doesn't make any, they would be like, yeah, this is 12 years of work. So, and that's the incompetence that I'm talking about here. So I haven't seen any signs that any, like, that they very much are a decentralized community, and that there is no leader. So I very much believe that. And the reason that they're putting their address out there is not because they want to be like, oh, come on, I mean, this is what they'll say. They'll say, oh, because we're just hippies and blah, blah, blah. No, they want free labor. They want free labor, period. And they pretty much have said that before. They're like, yeah, we want people to come and try it out. We have a bunch of big projects on the roster, and we want a bunch of people to come out for free labor. And that's not the first commune project that I've ever seen that's tried it. This is the most aggressive recruitment campaign I've ever seen before. Like, there was one time I went to a commune that, it doesn't matter if my name doesn't exist anymore, but yeah, where they didn't want me there because I was disabled and I could only help with, like, you know, chores around the kitchen and things like that, and, you know, little things that involved like sitting down for the most part. And they were basically just like, oh yeah, sorry, but they said it in the most you know, passive aggressive, you know, hippie way possible, but they were like, yeah, fuck off. Get that crippled ass out of here. So yeah, and there have been a couple other things that I've noticed. I've seen a lot of people talking about this situation with the garden, talking about how, like, they don't allow pills there. Like, they do. I saw in their whole, you know, thing, they do allow people to have medications, but if there are any narcotics of any kind, can't have them, because there have been problems in the past with people, like, you know, probably jacking medications and causing all kinds of shit that, you know, frankly, hippies aren't great at fucking conflict resolution, believe it or not. And probably nobody wants. I do agree completely that it is very unwise to just put your, you know, address out there on the internet or whatever. But this brings me to column B as to why this is not an actual cult. Is just the sheer, you know, unfiltered, unadulterated, unmonitored amounts of incompetence. And I mean, that, you look around that place, it kind of looks like a fucking junkyard, right? I mean, like, you can see why, you know, so many chickens are, you know, getting sick and things like that, because they just don't have a centralized area for them. Like, they haven't planned out, like, having the chickens, like, eat around, you know, the crops and things like that. They plant in the food forest. Like, there is no actual planning that seems to be going in this, that is like long-term sustainable, because the way that they have it set up now, they get one fucking, like, you know, outbreak of a certain kind of like mold or, you know, insect or whatever, and their whole crop is going to be decimated. And then what then? It's dumpster pizza forever. Like, ooh, like, you know, it gets old. You know, so let's look at some of the other. Let's look at exhibit 5050 of Krusty's being weird. This is just oogles being oogles, really. Like, to normal people, I can see, well, that's weird, but like, to people who haven't, like, traveled around and, you know, I've done this before, it just is a weird thing. But seeing a, you know, chick barefoot on a stump with a trumpet, you know, is probably one of the least weird things that I've seen.
Right now we're making a decision about what we should do about some chickens that are injured or diseased. Make decisions
Looks
in 10 seconds of silence.
absolutely
And the
riveting.
proposal right now is, should we kill the chickens? Now we're making a decision about what we should do.
Okay, so like I said, it's not abnormal to euthanize animals that are sick on a farm. Personally, I think that if you have that many animals that are sick and injured, that is another sign of incompetence. How the fuck are you going to be running a Jonestown like thing when, I mean, like, goddamn, Jim Jones was gacked out of his mind at all times. There was no moment in time where Jim Jones was not gacked out. Okay, and on probably speedballing too, right? So, and even he was able to organize, and have a little bit of foresight a little bit better than this. Like, I can already tell just by the nature of the way that they're trying to recruit that the turnover rate is very high now, and I don't think a lot of people have real life experience with cult things, so I think there's a lot of like Hollywood distortions and things going on there, but you really need. Usually with cults, the turnover rate isn't like so enormous. Usually it's a very and there's a very large solid group, not just a few stragglers who are don't seem to come and go. There are very few repeated faces. This is just some TikTok. It might get me copyright struck. I don't know. Unfortunately, yes. Yeah, I wanted to stop on this frame now. Unfortunately, modern day chickens are very fragile and medically needy. Chickens are. They shouldn't be. They're very easy animals to take care of. You feed them, you keep them in the coop at night, bada bing, bada boom. Give them some dust to bathe in occasionally. All right. And then here's the cat thing, right? So about the skinning of the cat, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with euthanizing a problem animal, especially of that size. It's not like there was like a herd of feral cats. I find it very hard to believe that 30 chickens were damaged by this one cat, and they weren't able to think of a solution other than euthanizing the cat. That's 100% accurate and a valid criticism. Although in their dumbass minds, I'm sure they were like, oh, this is, a common practice on other farms. This is, like, I mean, ride an animal, killed our animal, blah, blah, blah. We gotta protect our thing. Like, I'm sure that's what they were thinking in their heads. I don't know how many of them actually lived on a farm before, but I mean, it sadly does happen, and it's legal in most places. So and about turning it into a hat or whatever, I mean, they're sustainable community, right? I love cats, so I personally wouldn't want to be involved, but well, I don't know. Like, I always like taxidermy and things like that, and I understand people wanting to taxidermy cats and stuff. Like, personally, I probably wouldn't, but I get it, right? So, and there's only so many things you can like make out of a cat in a sustainable. People were talking about like, oh, it was like a fucking cult initiation that they ate some of the cat or whatever. Honestly, I very much doubt it. I probably think they were like, well, when's the next opportunity we're gonna eat a cat? Like, I can see this conversation happening and then voting on whether or not they should. And then, apparently enough people wanted to eat the cat. I don't know. But to me, it's better than throwing it into the fucking garbage. Morally speaking, health wise, you shouldn't be eating random feral fucking cats. I mean, that's just it. Like I said, so much incompetence from the ground up in relation to the garden that it absolutely blows my mind. So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit as somebody who lived on a commune and did a lot of work with permaculture and things like that. I don't see this being a project that lives for a very long time without this like viral shit going on. And if you ask me personally, they're probably playing into this cult thing as a form of viral marketing. Ha ha ha, and people like it when they go out there because it's different. But when I put this on YouTube, especially, like, I want to really impart on people that this is not normal for a commune. This is a disaster waiting to fucking happen. It already is a disaster with them not wearing masks and things like that, and generally putting one another at risk. I would be more concerned about that, and then the fact that they said that you know, it was a safe place for kids or whatever. So here's the Kool-Aid jug that's like, literally looks like it's full of Kool-Aid or iced tea or whatever that they're supposedly drinking, and all these people are freaking out being like, if you're not a cult, then why are you making all these jokes? Because that seems suspicious. No, not really. Like, they don't have TV. Only a couple of them seem to have phones. I mean, this shit's fucking. They probably all huddle around his phone and look at fucking YouTube comments and laugh about it together. And like, I mean, I, it's just weird to me. People are so weird that is something that they find legitimately suspicious. No cult is going to just go and be like, haha, look, we got Kool-Aid. Like, that would be very bad optic. It just seems like it's funny to them, and the more people freak out about it, the better it ultimately is for their end goal, which is, again, as much free labor as possible. Now, so with the high turnover rate, this means that, like, during the 10 days of you getting to stay there, you are going to be expected to do your fair share of work, right? When that trial period is up, or whenever you just become a problem or stop being useful, this is the kind of commune where the majority of the people there, mostly the people who have been there the longest amount of time, who have formed their core clique group, are going to vote you out. Especially if there's somebody else who's like, willing to come or whatever, who hasn't brought any issues to the group yet or doesn't have any criticisms for the planning and like that. Like, I mean, I don't think this qualifies as being anything close to cult like. Now, could it be if this kind of shit continues? I mean, maybe. It just doesn't really feel like there's enough to assume that people are going to actually stay here when they realize how fragile everything is, and whatever. And a lot of the people seem really nice, so like I said, with a cult, usually there has to be a little bit more how do you say, subtlety than just being like, yes, we're a cult TikTok, we're a meme. So I think that was pretty much everything. Like, basically, like, this is dangerous not because it's that's right, the sundown towns too in Tennessee. It's dangerous not because it's a fucking cult. It's dangerous because, I mean, these structures don't look entirely stable. There's all kinds of refuse all over the ground. It's like not the ground and the earth is not well maintained at all. Instead, like, it seems like, yeah, they have a few structures, but if they've been there for 12 years and that's all they've been able to build, I mean, it does explain why they've got 5 fucking buses on the property that they've just refurbished into shit. But yeah, that's another sign too that I mean, I know that a lot of them came from like the rainbow gathering scene and things like that, so having buses and whatever is not that unusual. I would just caution people against places that literally, I mean, there was someone who asked one of their, main internet recruiters or whatever, why they were spamming it everywhere, and they just straight up blabbed that they needed free labor, and that could not have pleased the brass. But I don't know. I mean, shit, maybe people want to go and just do physical labor and not have to worry about it, but do be aware that they'll probably kick you out once that you've served your use to them, because that's kind of the vibe that I get from this commune. And the whole like anti-mask, anti-vaxxer shit, like that's concerning on its own, but honestly expected. I mean, these are oogles. They're professional looks. They I'm pretty sure there was a video of the main guy basically going like, "Arr!" So I mean, they know. So don't worry about it. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit because it as entertaining as it is to watch people freak out and be like, ah, it's a cult. I don't want people to get this idea that like, hopefully there's nothing bad on this. God. I don't want people to get the idea that like communes are something to be afraid of or you know, like something to be ultra suspicious about, because a lot of the times it's perfectly fine.